everyone. Hope everyone's well. We'll kick off with the live section and then go into a little bit of 10:30 tonight. We have mics around the room, so if you have a question, raise your hand and we'll come to you. We're ready. We'll kick off with George from the BBC.
Thanks, Dan. Mikel, hello, how are you?
Hello, I'm good, thank you.
Before we do the exciting stuff, can we talk about the team news, please?
Yes.
Any good news to bring Arsenal fans? Obviously, Declan Rice not seen in training.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have to wait till tomorrow morning to see how a few of the boys are and make the right decision with them.
Okay, and what's Declan's issue, if you can describe?
I don't want to do that. We have to wait and see how he is tomorrow, but obviously he wasn't available to train.
Okay, and any chance of Saka or Timber being back potentially tomorrow?
Maybe one of them, let's see.
Okay, and I just wondered sort of, how do you reflect now on Saturday and the weekend's results? What have you said to the players and how have they responded in training?
Well, obviously it was a big disappointment and a hard one to take, especially losing at home when we had the opportunity to make that gap bigger and bring more certainty and get into this week in the best possible manner. But what we are trying to achieve is difficult. It's challenging, it's bumpy at times, and it's supposed to be like this. So you have to confront it, and what I basically said, guys, we are trying to do something, and in this competition that hasn't been done in the history of the club in 140 years. So that tells you the difficulty of that, and what you have to do. It's the first time that we are 3 years in a row in the quarterfinals in the Champions League. The first time in our history. For other clubs, that's the daily meal. Right now. So we value a lot where we are. We have the opportunity to go to the semi-finals. We are competing to win the Premier League and a really strong position. After 22 years, we are doing it. So we know the difficulty of that. But the beauty of it is that it's difficult and it's challenging, and it's very challenging to do.
You talk about back-to-back semi-finals in the Champions League and the Premier League. There was so much at stake. Mm-hmm. It sounds like it's going to be really hard just to get over, almost mentally, to get over the line. Once you do that, is it the mental challenge of doing it and achieving it can bring so much rewards down the line?
Yeah, but the thing is that we've done. I repeat myself, we haven't been in this position in the Champions League ever in our history. So we have overcome a lot of hurdles. Hurdles that they were here for 140 years. So the team is doing something incredible because it's never been done before. So, yeah, we're going to the next step for sure. We have ambition more than anyone else. And that's where the beauty lies in doing it. And we are good, and we are very, very close.
Okay. What do you want from the team tomorrow in terms of performance and from the crowd? Because I thought it was a little bit stressed on Saturday, so there is so much at stake, there's so much excitement, Champions League quarter-final. What would you like to say to the crowd and the players? What do you want?
No fear, no fire. That's it. Never fear. No fire. I want to see the players and the people in myself. That's it. That's it because the opportunity is unbelievable. We are in April, we have an incredible opportunity here. Let's confront it, let's go for it in I really don't actually working into it.
Can you give us an idea of your overriding emotions just now? Is there any worry, anxiety, or is it more fire?
I'm in fire. That's it, nothing else. I'm dreaming so much, I've done so much, to be in this position because I know how it's working. I do so much against anything that gives this beauty. I just see beauty, opportunity, and I want to get it done for all these people that are living in this journey with us. And because they deserve it, because they are unable. That's what is driving me every single day. I have zero fear. Fear I had when we got this win, this club, and there is no fear. There's no fear, it's just purpose, fire, direction, and conviction that we're going to do it.
You see this fire in your players?
Yes, big time.
You often use innovative methods to motivate your players. Whether you look at it, there's a lot of news. There's pundits, there's ex-players, there's even like a City fan, I don't know whether you've seen it, Stamford Bridge drinking out of an awful bottle.
One fan, I mean.
Yeah.
So again, we have to wear one fan that says something that there were 60,000 in Cairo at the European Games. I didn't get moved by that.
Do you maybe show your players this and say,
I still show them all the players and people that love these players and what they are doing that is unprecedented in this club. That's what I'm putting.
Just finally, Mikel, it's 6.5 years now you've been here at the club. Is this the biggest, maybe the most challenging week?
The biggest opportunity of 6 years, yeah.
What do you
think so much?
I know you mentioned fire now the last week you mentioned composer. This week when you spoke about that, was it more in terms of on-the-pitch stuff or just in general around the club, everybody, not just the players?
Yes, becoming meetings in some countries talking about certain topics, but we should be very important anyway.
You've also spoken about the players needing to always shift some momentum in matches a little bit better. Is that something you think is linked to composure in any way?
Sometimes it's good action. I mean, we have many actions during the week where we break the position press. Because a lot of situations, we have the next advantage to go with someone to space around and we give it right away. It turns out to be a counter-attack. These are the movements that shifts momentum and shifts the emotional state of the game for both teams, and that's what makes the winners.
And just in Declan, I didn't really get into specifics, but it seemed like in the second half he had an awkward landing. Was that part of his issue?
Well, he's played a lot of games and that's part of the issue. So we really try to do everything that he possibly can to do with us.
Everyone in this room knows why you don't want to give too much away on the teammates' front end. This generally is how you like to answer those questions. But the sense I get from supporters is there's a bit of frustration that they're going into the ground and it's going to be maybe they're disappointed, obviously, a player I don't really hope. Could you explain to supporters why you are so close when it comes to the teams?
I don't see it in the supporters. I don't know how they don't have that feeling.
I mean, it's certainly the good to story, but I think there are supporters that feel that.
From 60,000, that's the majority of it. We are so happy because in the team we are supported because no manager, I think, will give me a press conference with the big arena and we talk about a different team, but I don't think it's the case.
Thank you. Okay. The players' issue, is that when you picked up in the Carlton Fund, was it during this year?
No, it's just something in this car.
And what is the injury? What is his injury?
It wasn't a key decision.
And I think you said last week you hoped to go back to playing this. Okay, has there been any setback with that?
It's just progression, but hopefully going to be a matter of days and not weeks, but we have to see when he's ready and how he responds to any kind of progression.
And we're at the stage of the season where you need players to sort of make themselves available and play through the game, even if it means taking risks.
But we are trying to do that, and we know how important availability is in this crucial period of the season. We will be missing 4 or 5 starts as well for weeks, which has an impact. So that's what we need to do. That's for sure.
You mentioned the opportunities that you had to play for Bournemouth Press, and then how the sort of ball was getting away and the moves were broke down. Now you've had some time to look back at that game, and obviously we want to see a response going forward. How much of what you think the recent struggles have been are down to tactical approach versus player performance and the execution?
I understand the question, and it's good. There is always a balance between the two, and there is no plan without execution. There is about the decision is made on the moment and how good an execution is in relation to the decision. Otherwise, especially when you are attacking and doing this impact.
And you mentioned that you're feeling sort of fire, and obviously your intentions going into Saturday were to help boost the atmosphere. In hindsight, is there a chance that by sort of making every game into a kind of cup final that it adds to the tension?
No, I never mentioned that cup final. I think it was the importance of every game. When I'm at this, we've done the same in September, in October, in November, in the Champions League last year. I think the outcome of all that trying to achieve at the end, or the success or failure or your intention is based on the result. And it's somebody that this is true.
I'm okay. I think there's a temptation to look at where we're going, look at the mistakes, how can we improve those things. Is there also maybe emphasis instead of looking back on performances like against Bayern or Atletico and games where you've really dominated and done so well? It's always look at that identity. So you really at the players actually how good they can be.
Yes, and you can do it as much as possible, especially in moments when they need to see how we play the first half and the match needs to look at the negative things that we've done at the end of the year to win the game. But I don't reinforce them like they've done so well for 9 months to win this position.
And then so but with two huge games, how challenging is it when you've got two huge games in the space time to keep the focus on just the next one rather than benefiting?
The final is that big and that important to get into the semi-final of the Champions League again. That there is no time to find space for the weak in that position.
People really mentioned that he's doing well this period of time because of the sun. Why is the opposite in April, especially for Arsenal? Why this period of time always there?
We have the sun as well, and he's passionate. And then the sun, you have to win the games with the sun, in the sun. So somebody was the sun as well.
You mentioned about being in the quarterfinals 3 years in a row for the first time. Have you felt the need to sort of remind the players a little bit about what they've already achieved? Because everyone's talking about the next few weeks and what they could do. But is it a useful moment to say something that how far you've come?
No, I think what I love is really about where we are is that there's no satisfaction about it. And you haven't asked me any question like what lesson you want to do the game this year. Now we take it for granted. I'm sure the next things you describe, we will take it for granted. These are like fighting for titles in April, and it's a feeling, it's a goal. But it's difficult to do it. And I do believe that I like to have the players and do the for sure.
Congratulations, you're going to be in the Champions League this year. You should say that too. Can I just ask you one about Victor Alcaraz? After the game on Saturday, you mentioned that you felt the pitch was a bit dry. And I wondered if you felt that was an issue, and was that something you can rectify at home?
After losing the match, I learned some lessons. And after losing the match, don't do well. And everything else, then days ago, is coming back. Thank you. Great question.
Just sort of going back to what you've been speaking about how you're sort of making history effectively with all these quarterfinals and Super League. Do you think that the planning since Sunday has just been unfair and warranted given where you are at the moment?
I love the satisfaction of that, and we know much more, but this is why we are here. That was why we need some perspective, especially the players in the perspective of where we are in the Champions League and in the Premier League for things of fair play. And that's our reality. I want to embrace that, and it's supposed to be like this because the higher you are, the bank player gets, and more demanding, and the line is thin between being the best and being the worst. It's really, really thin, and you have to play with it.
And also, presumably, I suppose there's an attitude or motivation to sort of prove those doubts as well, probably. So that's what I have to do.
The motivation is to give to the people that they decide where the best, what they are looking for. And for the best, the energy is in this people. And it's another one that they deserve it.
Okay, the question from the TV with us is
I want to ask you about Sporting. What surprised you the most at first match at I believe?
My surprise is obviously the understanding of the quality that they have and the different ways that they have to handle it. They have really, really good side. We knew that they put that in the first leg, and as we were actually now, we have a lot of match.
I'd like to ask you what kind of Sporting do you expect tomorrow because they are winning Sporting. Do you expect Indian Newman will be on the team? Do you expect more difficulties with Martin Newman on the Sporting team?
During that project, they will make everything. They are always trying to be a team that is very, very dominant, for the press, for the ball, and then when they get involved in relation to some of the game, they can approach on and see they can get them in the lead. So they run into the result, they will modify that, and we are ready for that as well. And you will apply what is necessary to win the game.
Okay, guys, I think we should actually make out to a 10:30 tonight.
Cool. George, you want to kick us off?
Eberiche, hello, how are you?
I'm good, thank you, man. How are you?
Yeah, not bad, thank you, not too bad. I just wondered, how are you feeling after your injury, really, and you're ready to play your part in what's at stake for Arsenal this season with what's left in the Champions League and the Premier League?
Yeah, for sure. Come back from the little calf strain. Feeling good now, feeling ready. And excited for the time.
Your manager's just been in. He's been very passionate about everything that's left and what this team can achieve. Can you just explain to us what he said to you since Saturday, what he's been like in the training ground? Because he sounds very much up for the fight of what you can win.
Yeah, for sure. We all know the position that we're in, the opportunity that we have, and we know what's at stake. Loads of confidence, loads of belief in the group, in our team, and it's special to be around. But yeah, the focus is on the opportunity that we have and taking it with both hands.
This is why you've joined Arsenal, though, isn't it? You've got Champions League quarter-final, possibly, semi-finals to come, but then you've got a huge game against Man City. So this is what you're here for, personally?
For sure. These are the moments that you want to play in as a footballer. You want to play in the high-stake games. You want to play in all the competitions. You want to win as much as you can. So it's a beautiful time, and for me, I'm so excited. I know my team is excited. I know the boys are. So yeah, we're gonna give everything for sure.
Hi there, Ebery. Look, there's been a lot of talk about a number of the players having a bit of scar tissue over what's happened in the past few seasons. You actually haven't had that. You've come in the summer with a number of other players who probably haven't had that experience either. Does that help you and your teammates that you haven't had that experience where you might think, gosh, this might happen again?
I think, yeah, I understand what you're saying. I feel like there's a freshness that comes with not having experienced negative things. But for me, from what I can see from the teammates that have, the mentality that's in the team, there's so much belief and so much confidence. So there's one thing to have bad experiences, but what you do with them and how you move forward from them is more important. And I can see that I've got a team full of guys who are ready. So yeah, for sure we're here to help the boys who have come in this summer, but yeah, the mentality is strong.
George mentioned it just before about Mikel Arteta and his messaging. Can you give us an insight into what kind of messaging there has been in the past couple of days? And also, between the players, have there been any home truths exchanged, and given what's happened in the last couple of weeks?
I think, yeah, the boss speaks well and he's passionate, and you can see the fire that he has in his eyes and his mind, and that's been pushed around the whole training ground. Again, we know the opportunity that we have. We know what's at stake. We know what's possible, and we've got an opportunity to make history as a club. And regardless of what people say outside, it's about us here and what we're doing, and we believe massively. We have so much confidence in what we're doing. So that's been the main message. what we're doing, focus on this feeling that we have, all the noise outside.
Just finally, when you play from the outset, being tested at all?
I would. I've experienced football for long enough now to know how to carry myself, how to operate, and how to be the best version of myself on the pitch. And a lot of that is, being honest, not caring about what you guys talk about, and just doing what I do. I'm the professional, I'm the one that plays, and everyone has an opinion. Everyone thinks they know what's right and this and that. So for me, and as well as my teammates, I can see we've got the mentality now of just letting go and doing what we do best.
Hi, Barry. Last week, Mikel talked about how you wowed him in how you your response and reaction to your injury, and what you were like in your rehabilitation process. Could you just talk a little bit about how you experienced that process and what it was that you were determined to do while you couldn't get on the field, but what you could do off the field?
Yeah, I think being injured is never fun. It's never enjoyable, but it's a opportunity. I would say for me personally, I see it as a test for myself and what I'm willing to do to come back as fast as I can, as safely as I can, but also be in a better position when I come back. And that's always been my focus. It's always how I've approached a rehab process. So I think maybe it's that. Maybe it's just the energy and the fearlessness I have when it comes to doing what it takes to be back. And I guess that stems mainly from my faith, my belief. I just trust that all will be well as long as I'm trying my best.
And just lastly for me, the leadership group at the club that's been established. When Arteta spoke about you, and I don't know if there was part of your place at Palace where maybe you were a leader in that group, is there any ambitions on your side of things to become part of a leadership group at Arsenal at all?
Ambition? No. I think this team is full of leaders, and whether you're in the leadership group or not, you're still able to have a voice to speak and to say what you think. And I think ultimately that's the most important thing, whether you're in a leadership group or not. Of course, it's good because they can help speak for the players in a different way, but yeah, I feel like as long as I'm being myself and speaking when I want to speak and operating as I feel comfortable, I'm at ease.
I'm just going to go to Harry. Yeah, he needs the microphone.
Hi, Barry. One of the questions that has been discussed is how you've grown in terms of your overall influence on the team since you first arrived at the club.
Sorry, say again?
One of the things that's been discussed is how your influence over the course of the season has grown on the team.
Okay.
Do you think it was underestimated how big a challenge it is to come into a new team and know when to drop deeper, when to go further forward? Is it about finding the balance in new surroundings, and do people overlook that, do you think?
Do people overlook it? I think you guys, obviously, it's your job. So you're going to judge people, you're going to talk about how they're settling in, and maybe not fully appreciate what it takes to settle into a club. Some people settle quicker, some people it takes a bit longer. In a team like this, where it's so detailed and there's so many things going on, for a player like me who has come from a completely different background, it was a bit difficult at times, but for me it's part of the journey, it's part of what it takes to become a better player. And yeah, something that I'm enjoying now, for sure.
What would you say was the biggest challenge in terms of the adaptation? Was it the tactical stuff? Was it the physical level? What would you say was the biggest challenge?
For me, it was the tactical stuff. I think being at Palace, it was very different. The style of play, the way we saw the game. And coming here, there's just a lot more things to consider, which is normal because you're playing so many more games. There's so many different ideas of how to work and operate and be successful. So that does naturally take time, but of course, for sure, buying into it 100% because you know what the results will be.
Hi, obviously Arsenal not won the title for 22 years and they've never won the Champions League. But it does seem that a lot of neutral fans don't want Arsenal to win. I mean, A, you must be aware of this, and B, does it puzzle you, and are you using this to fire you up?
No, I don't care. If I'm honest, I'm not really interested in what people think and how they feel about us winning. I just know that we've got a team that is more than capable and has proven that we're of the highest level. And when we do win, it'll be down to everyone else to deal with that, I guess.
John?
Hi. Can I just take you back to your injury and your recovery? Because, I mean, that's an injury that could take longer. And you clearly showed a great determination and willingness there to kind of get yourself back on the pitch. Is that just how much the end of the season means to you, your determination? I mean, maybe you've got experience because you've had such a serious Achilles injury in the past. You know what it takes to get yourself back. Just how much did you push yourself? How much does this mean to you now?
I'll say less so about this particular time. I feel like it's just whenever I'm injured, my aim is to come back as quick as possible. And if that means working overtime and doing stuff that maybe isn't conventional, then I'm going to do it. But I believe that for sure that confidence does come from the Achilles injury, how I worked, how I operated there, and the faith that was instilled in me when it comes to injuries and letting go of fear of having another injury or whatever it is. Just a peace of mind of trusting that my God's with me and the work that I'm doing is going to leave me in good stead.
Can I just ask you what the Champions League means to you? Because you're clearly a very stylish, skillful player. You must have enjoyed watching it down the years. This is clearly what you've dreamed about. You were talking there about the opportunity ahead for the rest of the season. What does the next 2 months mean to you? What does the Champions League mean to you?
Yeah, no, for sure the Champions League is special. Growing up watching it on TV and dreaming to be playing in this competition, having it as a goal of mine from a young, it's a very special thing and something I don't take lightly. And to be in a position where we can win the competition and where we've got the actual opportunity, for me, that's the most special thing. And I'm grateful to God for it.
Hi, Barry. Around this time last year, before the FA Cup final, you mentioned kind of staying true to your style of play in a kind of football world that is changing. And I remember speaking to a few people who were actually with you in the Arsenal Academy, and they said that was you even then, and throughout this season we've seen glimpses of that. Just with all the, I guess, information that you've mentioned you've had to take on this year, how have you found kind of staying true to yourself this season?
I would say it's something that you have to be conscious of all the time, because you are, as I said, you're in an environment, you're in an industry that at times, if you're not careful, can pull you away from yourself. And I know that the reason why I'm here is because of the type of player I am. So staying true to that is key. It's everything, really. And as long as I stop doing that stuff, I'm no longer the player that I can be, or the player that was even brought to Arsenal. So for me, that's the focus. As long as I'm being myself, as long as I'm playing the game how I see the game to be played, as well as supplementing with the ideas and things that are going on here at the club, for me, that's the perfect combination.
And when you signed for Arsenal, a lot of Arsenal fans kind of found a lot of your old tweets. Nothing bad, but just stuff that really showed that you were an Arsenal fan growing up. And one that stuck out to me was you were retweeting like comps of Arsenal's like 2006 season. I was just wondering, from a stylistic perspective, what that kind of Arsenal team inspired within you and your kind of style, because it kind of seems like it shines through.
I think there was a certain level of confidence and not arrogance, but it was just a belief within that squad. And for me, that's what football's about, walking onto a pitch and believing that you're that guy and you're part of that team. For me, that's the mentality, and they had that. And it's something that we've got as well, which is special to be a part of, and for sure something that dreams are made of, I think.
Hi. Early in the season, you've had some big moments against Spurs, against Bayer Leverkusen. At times, especially when you're not there and maybe Martin Odegaard's not there, there's maybe that missing piece of magic, piece of spark in the middle. Why do you think that is? And do you think now, up until the end of the season, you could beat that magic spark in the middle to provide the assist for the forward players?
Yeah, I think that's like any team. There's players who have specific roles within the team, and if those players aren't there, then they're missing that, whatever it is that player brings. So it's very normal that if players aren't there, then they lose something, and that's in any position. But for sure, the aim is to be fit, to play, and to be available to help the team as much as possible in my case, and Martin's exactly the same. But yeah, that's the focus.
I think in December there's a game against Villa where I think you were substituted at half-time, and then for a while afterwards we didn't really see you start much, especially in the league. What was the change then? Was some of that in relation to maybe tracking back or defensive aspect of the game?
I would say that's just part of the journey of playing for Arsenal. There's certain responsibilities that you have, and maybe if you're not doing it to the best of your ability, there's another player who's potentially going to do it better. So that's the level that we're playing at. That's the level of competition that's in the squad. So me not playing wasn't something I understood and I can understand because of the level of football that we're playing here. So again, part of the journey, part of what it takes to win. That's the type of team that you want to play for sure.
Last couple.
Hi, Eze, Bárbara Simões Nunes, SIC Portugal. I'd like to ask you what it's like to work with Victor Gyökeres, and if you have already learned something to him.
Yeah, he's a good guy, man. He's a very good guy. He's a special character and a special player. He's someone that will give everything on the pitch, and you can see how willing he is to leave everything on the pitch. And for me, that's it's inspiring, and that's the type of people that you want to be around because it's infectious. When you see him working, it makes you want to work. And of course, he's a killer when it comes to finishing, so you know that if he has a chance, he's going to take it. So yeah, massive help to the team. He's someone that is a leader, and yeah, we trust him massively.
We'll do the last question.
Hi, Carlos Albuquerque from RTP Portugal Television. I'd like to ask you what kind of Sporting do you expect tomorrow, and if Arsenal do you consider the big favourite to go to the semi-finals? Thank you.
Well, we've seen how they played from the last game, but we don't know how they can come. They could completely change. It's hard to speculate on that, but the main focus is how we're going to play, how we're going to operate, and allowing that to be the main focus, because if that's the case, then we trust that we have enough to put in the best performance possible and to win the game. So that's our mentality, that's how we're focusing on the game and being very much centred on ourselves.
And
Favourites? To go through? Well, we're winning 1-0, so I'm trusting that as long as we do what we can do and perform how we can, it's very possible.
Cool. We'll end it there. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
So bad. I thought we...
Have you got mine?
Yeah, but it.
Cool. Thank you. Good luck, guys.
Oh, yeah, the picture.
But also,